This is chapter 4, Forms of ICT class 10th. What we are going to see is what is form tag in HTML. Very important thing. Most of the websites and the web applications, they have form now. They are equipped with form. We'll try to find out the attributes and the properties of the form tag, and then how to post the details that the user has filled in the form to the server. We'll try to see the different controls that are available to us, and when these controls are placed, what exactly they do. And then we'll see the attributes of the input element when we are going to create different form objects. So what is a form? When you go to any examination filling form or any other form on the website, they say, or in the advertisement they say, go to this website, fill the form, submit, place, or submit the money. What you are going to do, you will add your name, age, mobile number, etc., all the information, and then you press a submit button. Then you pay. This information is taken in form. So form is what? It is collecting data from the user. Nowadays, this form you have come across in various options or various day-to-day life activity like banking, creating even an email ID. And this form is actually, you can say, a container which contains various form elements. These are text fields, text area, drop down box, radio buttons, checkbox, command buttons, etc. So HTML forms, they are actually used to pass data from us user to the server. We'll see the action, what it does. So the basic syntax of any form would be something like this. Form would end. So it has to have an end or terminating tag of form. Then the method has to be predefined. It can be a get, it can be a post. We'll talk about get and post just now. Then the action. What is going to happen when you click the submit button? When the user has filled in and you press a submit, even it can be a feedback or comment or etc. things, you press the button submit, then what happens? And one more thing I would like to highlight here, the input which we are going to talk in detail, this has no terminating tag. There is no / input. Now as we start, because we want to send the data, so this is your browser. This is the point where you write the URL like www.google.com like this. So this is the URL, Uniform Resource Locator. Somewhere you will find it as Universal Resource Locator also. The two methods are get and post. If you use get method, you will find all the items, the values which you have filled in the URL. If you choose post, then the data would go in the form of HTTP post transaction, hypertext transfer protocol post transaction. The difference between get and post is get would append the data which you enter in the URL itself. So you are able to see, because if you go to Google and type something, you'll be able to see your data in the URL. The length is limited. Up to 3000 characters you can fill in. And if you have a sensitive data, as I just said, that your data will be shown here. It is visible to you, so it is visible to everyone around the globe. So if you have a sensitive data, don't use get. But if you want to bookmark the result, what happens? You have a page, you bookmark it so that you can revisit it later. If you want to bookmark, or if you want to allow the user to bookmark, and you are making a website or a web application, then you can go for get method. But for post method, if the data is sensitive, you use this post, because data will not be shown on your URL, but rather it will go as a HTTP request or body of the HTTP request. It has no size limitation like 3000, and since the data is not visible, it cannot be bookmarked. So the action would be some address, some link. The method could be post or get, as we have seen post and get. Now we have some attribute values also of this get and post. As we said, that get default. If you don't give anything, the get would be default method. So this would append the form data in your URL in the form of name value pairs. Like you give your name will highlight here. You give your mobile number will highlight here in the URL, and you will be able to see. How about the post? This will send the form data as HTTP post transaction. How about input tag? This input tag is where your actual data will be taken. It will collect the information from the user. So the name, actually the name is the internal name of the characters which you are going to put in. That will be the internal name that will be used. The size, it will take the value of the number of quotes, which is equal to the width of the field. If this can be your text box, this can be your text box. So this is larger, this is somewhat shorter than this. So this will be decided by the size you give. Then the max length means how many characters a user can enter. Say you have given a width of, say, this one 50, and you allow user to enter only 20. That is the max length. The type is, of course, you can allow text, radio, means selections, and submission. We'll start with the text box field. This is our text box field. You'll see like this. And how you're going to get this text box? You have to use this input type is equal to text. So you'll be able to see the text box. Now one thing here is you'll be able to write only or input only one line, not more than that. If you want to more add line, we have option for that also. Apart from the text box like value, size, name, max length, align, tab index, all these are there, and they convey the same meaning as we discussed in the previous discussion. Align is how or where you want to align in the form with respect to the form, and tab index is when you press tab, at what point or on which tab this text box should be highlighted or the cursor starts blinking here. Let us take an example. We are having two text boxes actually here, whose internal name, F name first name, M name middle name. So you are giving father's name. Input type you have chosen as text. Size you have given 20. So now you will see a text box in front of father's name. You want the mother's name to come on the next line, so you use a BR. And again the mother's name will have a text box of 20 size. So this is what you are going to see. Father's name, mother's name. Then you have a text area. This text area, as I said, that if you want to enter or if you want to allow entering more than one line, then you use this text area. So you can enter more than one line, several lines at a time. If you want to allow to send an email or some comment from the user, you will be using this text area. This text area is having a start tag also and a end tag also. So the options available is text area, because text area has a size. So the columns means how many characters, and the rows, how many lines you would like to enter or allow to enter. Name, of course, the same thing. Tab index, at what point if somebody is pressing tab, at what point it should come. Wrap means there are three options. Wrapping means if you allow user to enter maybe first line can come. After this it is going to stop. The second option you would allow is user is entering, and then as soon as the right border comes, it should go to the second line. And then third is the physical. So wrap off, virtual and physical are doing the three different things. If you don't want wrapping, use wrap off. As soon as the line break is there, virtual will see, and that will be loaded in the web page, and the physical defines the format of the text. Whatever user enters, it will be seen exactly like this. That will be physical. Let us take an example. Form method, post. So we are using a post, and the action is mail. You want to email. Now the text area, because I said it has to have some, because this is a box, so you have to have a row and column. The row is 5, column is 30. You want wrapping as physical, and the name of this text area would be comments. Then you enter something here, means this enter comment here will come, and then after that you will be able to enter. Text area ends. The input type has to be there in a form. It will be submit, and the value would be email yourself. That is, in submit button you will see this email yourself text. This is how the output will be. Then we have radio buttons. So radio buttons does what? If you want to choose from number of options, only one option, only one can be selected. So you use input type is equal to radio. So this is also called as a toggle button. Toggle button. And the options available are name, of course, the name of this. And you want to group, say you want to group these two buttons, you have to give the same name to this. If you want to group all these four, all four should have the same name. The value, what will be submitted if it is checked or if it's selected, the value will be like this. The alignment, of course, with respect to the form, top, middle, bottom, right, left, text top, baseline, apps middle, apps bottom. Tab index, at what point the tab, if a user is pressing tab, at what point this radio button should come, and checked. If you want any of this tab to be already selected when the user logs in, then you can use checked. This is an example, like you are making a form, what type of lighting you have in room. Lighting type is having two radios, so you want to group them, so you give the same name. The value would be tube light and bulb, means the content will be shown like this. Then three other radio buttons having the same name, so they are grouped together. They have different names and they'll be shown like this. So the result will be like this. You can choose any of these. You can choose any of this. So you will be choosing any one of these. So today's discussion is like this. Now let us go to the practical aspects, what we have learned right now, so that you have a glimpse of what we have learned till now. I have already written taken the content from the book, and I'll try to show how exactly this works. This is forms.html. Let me clear it. This is my forms.html. This is the content from the book. So we'll start with the first discussion what we made. We have talked about the input type is equal to text. We'll give it like this. So input type is text, size is 20, f name. Break will bring it to the next line. We have already seen the result with break. Let us see the result with no break. Let me run it. So we'll run in the browser. So this is the result. Father's name, mother name, like this. So what and why we have used this break? Just to make sure that the mother's name comes in the second line. Now let us run it again. You will see exactly as your book says. You can put more breaks, so they have some 2 line differences between them. This is how. Okay. Next is the text area. Now what this example shows us, as we have discussed, that we want to have a post method and there will be an email. Because we have not configured an email, you will see an email coming or a box coming. It's not going to work right now. We are interested in text area. Text area will have 5 rows and 30 columns. It will be physical. I'll write something and you'll see in that text area already enter comments here, that will be there already. Then you will have a submit button which will show email yourself. Let us run it. Okay, this is already coming. Enter comment here, comments here. This is 5 by 30. Let us write. This is my forms learning. Just remember when my text reaches the right border. This is my forms learning, and I has come down. This is what this physical does, right? So this is the email. Let us press it because we have not configured. The email has come and you can directly email what content you have chosen. After this, the next discussion was radio. Let us choose this content, and this content I have changed because if you copy from the book, it is not going to work. You have to change these codes, etc. So if you want to actually run it and practice, you can just pause and have a look. Let us run. Okay, let me first let me run and then I'll explain. So what is happening here is, one is lighting type, so there are two buttons. I am choosing any of these. Both cannot be chosen, only one can be chosen. In the similar fashion, lighting size, I can choose one of these. So as you see here, we have the lighting type. There are two radio buttons. They are of same type, so they are grouped together, and the name is tube light and bulb. How about the lighting size? This is radio button again, three groups, three in a group, so we are naming it similarly, L size. And the name would be long, medium, short. So you can choose any of this. This is how radio button works. And we have seen various aspects of form. Let us continue with the checkboxes. Last we have seen the radio button. So the checkboxes in radio button, we can select only one option from multiple options. But if we want to choose multiple options from various options or multiple options from multiple options, then you will use these checkboxes. All the attributes like the name, align, value and tab index, they are similar to the radio button attribute. And if you want to group them, or you say that checkbox they are similar, then you does not or you do not give them a different name. For example, if this is the checkbox group you are going to make, that means I love to eat chalk, I love to eat laddu, I love to eat cake. So the input type would be checkbox and the name would be all sweet, and the value will change because then this is what you are going to see. So the result would be I love to eat chocolate, I love to eat laddu and cake. So you can check these two or all these or none of these. So this is up to you. Now command button, this is a very important button. See, you have filled up the form. Now you want to send it. And you know that sending is via get or post method. For this submitting or the button which is provided in the form is the input type which can be submit or reset. Submit, when you activate it, all the content which is being filled up in the form will be sent to the server, and a form may contain more than one submit button also. The reset button, all the content which is written here, if you reset it, all will be gone, so it will be refreshed. So for the next entry, now the form is available or it is ready. And the action attribute, as we see in the example, see here that this is the form method. You are using post and you want to put some action like you want to email something. This submit means this submit button which has a value email yourself is given here. So when you press it, then an email will be generated. It will open your email inbox in some email say service. Now we also have a drop down box. See, if you want to say convert or see conversion of your currency, or you want to book some ticket from one place to another, Then a drop box will surely help you. You choose there are number of options, you choose any of this. So this is the drop down box. So you have select tag, and inside that you can give various options. So the select will make a drop down box and all the options are given here. So the name size, multiple values or name size are similar, but multiple means if you want to provide multiple selections, then you use this multiple. And also this value, that means the value is shown as chocolate, say, but inside it you want to give it as, or you want the internal program to treat it as ch only, like the currency India will come as one option. Now you want this India, when user select inside the program, it should be treated as INR, Indian rupees. So this is the value. So the option tag is like this. You start with select, end it with select, and inside this you give various options. And if you give, or if you want some option to be selected, always selected, then you use this selected also by default. This is an example. This code displays the whole form. There is a form. Inside this, the taste of food is to be selected, and you see the name is taste, and the size is 4. That means at a point or at an instance you will see only 4 options. So this is size equal to 4. Now in this option value is Indian. All these values are there and it is selected. What does it mean selected? This Indian will come selected by default, and then when you press a submit button, it will email you, means the value on that button will be written as, or will be presented as email yourself. So this is how it is given, but now we are changing the output as 6 items. So Indian is selected and these are 6 items as you can see. So before we can summarize, let us go to the practical presentation or representation of what we have learned. I have already taken the content from the book, and in the previous discussion we have shown up till this radio button. Now we'll show the check boxes. So let us make a new file new. Let us name it as, I'm using Notepad++. I'm saving it as HTML. So let me save as say form 2, because we are taking the second part of form. Let me save it as this, save. Now the first is checkboxes. So I have made a form, or actually I have taken this content from the book. So the form is made. Inside this I have 3 options. Input type is checkbox, the names are similar, sweet, and the values are like this. Let me save it and run it for you. So these are 3 options. I can select this, all of this, or say these 2. So multiple options can be chosen. The second example which we want to present here is this one, which is actually giving us the glimpse of the drop down box. So what we are going to get here is, this is a form which will use the post method. This will initiate a mailbox. Then this is the select option, and you have multiple, means you can choose multiple options. The size would be 4. Let us make it say 5, or let us make it 3. Let's say 5, because we will choose multiple. These are the options, as you will be able to see. Indian will be selected, and there will be a button which will show you email yourself. As we have not configured any email service, you will see some email coming, email box opening. So let me save it and run it for you. So these are the options. We have chosen 4. Indian is already selected. I can choose multiple, so I've chosen Indian and Chinese, and let me email yourself. So this is an email box which is trying to open. Okay, so we have seen the practical example also. Let us summarize. So form is for collection of information from the user. There are 2 methods. by which you can post the information in the form. It can be get or post. The input tag will connect the information. It can be text field, it can be text area, text field for one line, text area for multiple line. Radio button, one option from the multiple options. Checkbox, multiple options from multiple options. And the command button is for pressing the data to be sent to the server. Submit button, exactly same. Reset buttons will reset the data. Initial values means to the default values or no values. Drop downs to the multiple list which is coming or multiple options coming for the user to select. So select an option will do the task. So this is all about this chapter, forms. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.